photographs the president holding the Bible. And the president informed Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, I would like to send troops into the cities to stop the protests. And Milley resisted and said, I'm not going to do that. That's for law enforcement. We're not going to send soldiers into the cities. And they got into a shouting match, as I'm told. They sort of fought it out. They yelled at each other. Somebody described the room as basically two bullies. And the president backed down. And, the meeting went on for a long time. They were in there for several hours. But at the end of the day, they didn't send the troops into the cities.
What's striking to me is that for all what I glean from your reporting is as sort of scary and overwrought as the response has been, the men on the Lincoln Memorial, the protesters being cleared, that there was a version of this that this was the tempered version that came out of Trump's impulses for something far, far worse and darker.
Well, I think that's pretty clear. I mean, those soldiers that we saw around the Lincoln Memorial and some of the other places, and I think the helicopter overhead as well, those were National Guard helicopters. And those are just, because it's the District of Columbia, those are under the president's command.
Right.
But no, he wanted to put, as I understand it, he wanted to put United States military troops in American cities across the United States. And that's what the discussion was about. And that's what Milley pushed back on. Now, what's kind of interesting here is that General Milley, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is actually not in command of soldiers. He's he presides over, the chiefs of, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. But he doesn't actually command any troops himself. I'm not sure the president knows that, but basically Milley just said, forget it. We're not going there.
There's also this, the scene obviously outside the White House and Barr's decision to clear the protesters has become this very contentious scene. The president's obviously, we sort of heard that part of his desire to flood American cities with a show of force was reporting on him visiting the bunker. And it was just a somewhat comical accidental admission that happened apparently today. Trump had said that he was down there to inspect it in the afternoon. Barr today gave a totally different story. Take a listen.
It was a false report. I wasn't down. I went down during the day, and I was there for a tiny, little short period of time, and it was much more for an inspection.
Things were so bad that the Secret Service recommended the president go down to the bunker. We can't have that in our country. And so the decision was made. We had to move the perimeter 1 block.
Sounds like they did actually say that he had to go down to the bunker.
Yeah, it's hard to know what was happening in there. I mean, at the end of the day, I ended up talking to Mark Meadows, President Trump's chief of staff, and he said, look, there were a lot of discussions, and they were all very nice, and they went on for hours and hours, but it's hard to know.